Hey folks, just a situation update on the profound alteration for this kilt. Remember, and I got my dates wrong. I made this as recently as 2018. It just seemed longer ago than that. So, and again, to recap, I decided from his change in figure, he's now got a 54-inch waist from 45, that I couldn't there was material, but I couldn't just use the apron, because the apron would go so far back it would just look odd, right, and not flattering, and that's exactly what we don't want, right? So pulled it apart, pressed it flat, making up the pleats, and I got about a third of the way through, and I was starting, my subconscious was starting to bug me, and I was starting to doubt myself, because I don't know if you can see it, but there's just a faint ghost of the crease right there. You can see it there. You can see it there. So as I was sewing this up, because I had done my calculations according to my sheet, and increasing the width of the pleats, but only by a 1/4 inch, right? A 1/16 on either side to keep these centered. So as I was sewing these things, I'm like, and using my template, I was like, my template's coming right down on, or at least within literally a hair's breadth, or chalk width at least, of that old crease. And I started to doubt myself. And my advice here is pay attention to your hunches, right? Stop, think it out, because had I got completely finished and found that I was wrong, because I was starting to think, am I just sewing it up to the same dimension as before, right? But what I do is, that would have been heartbreaking, because right now I'm so slammed with deadlines. Everybody's getting married. The cloth, as you can see over there, and that's not even all of it, everyone's cloth is showing up that we'd ordered several months back. So I'm working all like flat out to get everything done on time, because we don't miss a deadline. But again, you know, I reached the halfway point, and I measured halfway. So yeah, you know, I went back, I did my numbers again, I reached the halfway point, I measured, I was spot on. So that's a load off my shoulders. So 35 pleats at 3/4. Now this fellow only has a 1/2 inch difference between his waist and his seat, but we're still building in a slight A-line. And in this case, the dimensions, the width, 3/4 and 3/4, but I'm adding a chalk width, a 1/16 of an inch, extra 1/16 of an inch at the, at twice actually, at the hips, so that we get that slight taper, because even if the body itself doesn't have the taper, the garment needs the taper, because the garment is it'll allow it to hang better. If we sewed it as a hollow cylinder, it wouldn't look its best. It's going to look better this way. So there we go. Once I get this done, I'll get the pleats done easily within an hour or so. I'll be just carrying on as before. Pardon me, I have the luxury, the fellow lives not too far away. I'm going to call him in for a trial fitting once the canvas is in and the inner apron shaped. So there we go. I'll check in later. Thank you. Oh, something I forgot to mention just a minute ago. When I was having those conniptions, right, am I doing the wrong measurements? I pulled out his canvas, and it's the way you don't throw things away, at least not right away. I pleated it up to show those 3 pleats to get the taper, right? And then I slapped my tape on them, because remember, that comes in at the buttonhole right over there, and the other end is the strap. So we've got the waist measurement. I was like, right, 45, bang on. So I knew at that moment that I was actually doing it right. So there we are. Okay, back to it. Thanks.